Um, Welcome. Glad you guys are here. You're here because you're wondering what in the world does a new president, or maybe it's the same president we've had before, how is this going to affect me and my real estate business? And before we get started, a couple of notes. Number one, I just want to let you know there's going to be a lot of loud noises going on because I'm getting all new windows and doors installed in our condo here in the Caribbean. Number two, hey, there's me. That's awesome. Let's see. I don't know if I can unmute Mike. But maybe Mike can unmute Mike. Okay, so as Mike is figuring out his figure-outables, where was that at? Hey, I can hear Mike now.
There you go. You can hear my dogs barking.
Woo-hoo! All right, sweet. Well, you're going to hear my windows being installed soon. So
we're professionals.
Yeah, battling noises. I love it. Hey, so for those of you who don't know Mike, Mike is my guy. So with a really good haircut, by the way. Mike lives in Canada, and all of you are here because of Mike. I barely know how to turn my computer on. And so anyway, cool. Anything you want to say, Mike, before we dive in?
No, I just apologize for interrupting you. I didn't. Yeah. So I'm Jonathan's tech guy, and I didn't realize that I logged in under his account. So yeah, it's the blind leading the mic. Anyways, but so how if there is a new president, what does that mean for realtors?
Yeah, great question. Okay, so I'll preface it with this. I've been a realtor for 19 years. And so, boy, I'd have to redo how many presidents that is. Let's say that's been 6 presidential elections, 5 presidential elections. And my first 2 years in residential real estate were good financially, but I'd say my personal life struggled, right? So when I say good financially, 19 years ago, I did a little over 300,000 GCI, my first year. This is in Minnesota. My second year, I did a little over 420,000 GCI. That's pretty good. But my wife basically said, hey, you got to find a different way to do residential real estate, or you need to get a new job. And I get it, because like the income was there, but I was like totally mentally checked out. I was just always thinking about buyers and sellers, thinking about how things are going to go wrong or going to go right. And then I need more buyers, I need more sellers. And it was just like this circular figure 8 chase. So anyway, at the start of my third year, I'm like, okay, I've got to quit doing everything that traditional realtors do. So I started doing that. I started quitting doing everything traditional realtors do. And instead, I went a totally different direction. And I would say this, that first year of me doing this new system, I did a little over 810,000 GCI, and I do not know who the president was. And then the next year, my GCI went even higher. And you know what? I don't know who the president was. And then the third year of me doing the system, my income went even higher, and my personal life got even better, and I did not know who the president was. And then the fourth year, you get it, I didn't know who the president was, but my income kept going higher, and my joy and satisfaction of just life kept getting higher and higher. So let's fast forward a couple of years, back then at least, to 2009, 2010. For any of you who were a realtor in 2009, 2010, even a little bit of 2008, type in the chat box, like, what happened? Like, what happened during those years? And was that like really great times for real estate, or was it like challenging times for real estate? Yeah, it was challenging times for real estate, right? Realtors were like going out of business. Homes were being foreclosed upon. It just was nasty. Anyway, I'm at Disneyland with my family, and I get a call from a realtor going like, "That's just horrible. Like nobody's buying, nobody's selling." And in 2008, well, I should say this. Every year since I started doing this 17 years ago, my income has gone up, and my joy and satisfaction has gone up, and my stress level has gone down. I should probably create a chart of this. So if you can have a chart of, for the last 17 years, your income going up, your joy going up, and your stress level going down, that's a good chart. Well, 2008, 9, 10 were no different. So anyway, at Disneyland, and I get this phone call, and the realtor's like, "Hey, no one's buying, no one's selling." And I'm just like, "Hey, I just want to let you know they just shut down Disneyland because they reached maximum occupancy, and they're charging $129 a ticket to get in, times maximum occupancy of, I think it was 380,000 people." And I said, out of all the cars in the parking lot, I didn't see a single junker. And the hot dogs are $9 a hot dog, and people are buying them. There's a line 35 people deep. So I don't know what you're doing, but there's people in America buying and selling homes. So anyway, what I've discovered is that when you have a system that works, you don't need to worry about all the external circumstances. And I would jot that down. Like when you have a system that actually works, you don't have to worry about the external circumstances. So like a McDonald's of the world, good, bad, or indifferent, they got a system that works. They don't need to worry about, is it a blue president? Is it a black president? Is it a white president? Is it a purple president? Is the Senate purple? Is the Senate pink? Is the Senate whatever color? Well, what about this calamity that happened in the world? Or what about this good thing that happened in the world? It's not in a mean way, but they're just like, "Hey, we're just gonna keep making hamburgers. We just gotta keep making French fries." So anyway, the system is the solution. And when you have the right system, what's really cool is that external circumstances become totally irrelevant. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, but it looks like it says host disabled attendee screen sharing. So let's see if maybe Mike can make me host. And if so, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to start sharing with you guys the system that's allowed me to sell about $424 million of residential real estate. It's the system that's allowed me to open 3 real estate companies and help these realtors sell over 600 million. And it's the system that, gosh, for the last 5 years now, I've been teaching this system nationally to realtors out there, and they've sold $1.2 billion from this system. And the system really starts out with 3 things. And I'm going to see if I can grab one of my triangles here. So grab a piece of paper, and you want to kind of draw this triangle. And so this is the key to the system. It has three parts. It has attract, it has convert, and it has deliver. And it's all about attracting 16 CPLs. CPL stands for cool premium leads. And so with my system, you're going to start attracting 16 cool premium leads month in and month out. Like, type in the chat box if that would be helpful for you to start getting 16 high quality, cool premium leads month in and month out that actually want to buy a home or sell a home at market price. And they're just a cool, nice person. So yeah, that's a pretty good thing. That's exactly what we're looking for as realtors, right? Well, then from those 16 cool premium leads, with the system, you meet with approximately 50% of those people. So 8 people. And a traditional realtor has, a buyer presentation, a seller presentation. It's super long, right? It's an hour or a half hour, and it goes over, this is why I'm so great. This is why you should work with me. I'm the best realtor. Nobody else can compare to what I do. Okay, as you can imagine, because remember I said I had to go opposite of what traditional realtors do. So my buyer presentation or listing presentation, I call it an initial consultation, and it takes about 10 minutes. The first 5 minutes is about me, what makes me different, how I massively benefit people like them. And the next 5 minutes, I ask them a few questions and I find out if they should be moving now or just stay put for the next decade. And those are really important words to use. So when I tell somebody, hey, we're going to find out if you should move now or just stay put for the next decade, that sometimes scares people off. That's why sometimes not all of the 16 leads want to meet with me or with you for an initial consultation. But about 50% of the people out there actually want their problem solved, and they're like, yeah, I'll meet with you for this initial consultation. So then I do the initial consultation, and I call it the green machine. And part of the initial consultation, the first part at least, is just me flipping the pages. So these are my actual real pages that I go over with a buyer and a seller. And after that, then I actually ask these questions, which I actually ask. And then after that 10 minutes, I say, gosh, so based on what you told me, I recommend you should move, or I recommend you should not move. And then we go in and we find out if what they want exists. And then for those who are like, yes, I am okay paying that price, yes, I'm okay getting that home, then that turns into 2 people that I actually help and deliver, and they go closing. Now, this triangle works this way even on day 1 when you start using it. As you get better with my system, you're going to get the same number of 16 cool premium leads. You're going to get probably at the beginning the same 8 ICs, but instead of working with 2 people a month, you might start working with 3 people a month or 4 people a month. Does that make sense? So it's really not that much more work or effort to do this. And I would say this, there's a lot of realtors out there that have this belief that, hey, I'd love to work with 2 or 3 or 4 people a month, but that would be a lot of work. Like, it takes 60 hours on average. This is according to NAR, N-A-R. You guys all know who that is, National Association of Realtors. We pay dues to them every year. National Association of Realtors says it takes 63 hours to work with 1 person. So I can see how a lot of realtors are like, heck, I'm already swamped working with 1 or 2 people a month. Why the heck would I want to work with 3 people a month or 4 people a month? And I get it. because with the wrong system, you're correct. It does take 63 hours to work with one person to help them get what they want. But generally, with my system, it takes anywhere from 4 to 12 hours.
Hey, Jonathan,
Yeah.
can you just explain how you use your IC to get that number from 60? Because that's where it happens, right? It's the information you get in the IC that
Yeah.
gets 63 to 4. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm very clear on that. Like, guys, I can only help you if you want to buy or sell at market price. Like, if you actually want to get what you want. And I think that trips up a lot of realtors because instead of taking this 10 minutes out and diving really deep into what people want, and I would even say this, Mike, it's not even the what they want, it's why do they want that, right? So in marketing speak, it's called feature benefit, right? And so nobody goes to buy a drill because they're like, I want a drill. They buy a drill because the benefit is I need a hole in the wall. And because I need a hole in that wall, that means I have to buy a drill. And so the initial consultation, it's focused on the benefit. And so some of the questions are like, why do you want to move? Why is that important to you? What if you don't get that? How's it going to make you feel for you to get this new place? In one word or phrase, what's this going to do for you? And so generally at the end, the last three questions or the last three answers to my questions are generally people say, well, I want, peace of mind. I want to be a great dad. I want to provide a home for my family. I want to be closer to the grandkids. I want the feeling of, taking care of my dogs and having a run zone for the dogs to run in. Does that make sense? And those things are much more impactful for me as a realtor to help them because I'm getting off of the traditional realtor who's focused on like, how many bedrooms do you want? How many bathrooms do you want? What square footage do you want? Because if a buyer wants peace of mind to be a great provider, a great spouse, provide a great home for the dogs, that can happen at a lower priced home or a higher priced home. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna focus. The system focuses on people in the top 50% of the marketplace, right? So that's good. But let's just say that's $600,000 in your marketplace. When you do the initial consultation, instead of the person going, oh, 600 only gets us that, well, we don't want to buy them. We'll just stay put. With the initial consultation, with the answers that you're going to get, it can be like, hey guys, 600,000, but you only get these three criteria. If you go up to 700, you can actually get all the criteria you're looking for. Or, you know what? We can even go down to 500. You don't get all the criteria, but you get these. And each of those three options leads to this. Like, hey guys, the main reason you want to move is because you want a place for the dogs to run. You want to be a great dad and you want peace of mind. Guys, you can get that in this home. You can get that in this home. You can get that in this home. So the initial consultation, the power there, Mike, is that it's like at the end of that 10 minutes, you are actually in front of somebody who is like, we are going to move. Like it will happen. Come death do us part. Does that make sense? It's like I'm helping them, I'm guiding them, I'm navigating them to we're making that decision. And that's just at the beginning. But yeah, what happens a few months into the system, you start working with 3 people, 4 people. Maybe instead of 8 ICs was 16, you start getting 12 ICs, and now that goes up. If you even want that to go up, right? I want to show you guys some math though. I know as realtors, we're kind of like, I don't want math. I agree with you. I'm an econ major.
Just a couple of questions in the
Yeah.
chat, Jonathan.
Yeah.
So Jake Kirkland was asking, what was your point about only work with if you are willing to buy at market prices? I think how you finished that sentence.
Yeah. So
the point is that you're only going to work with the clients you want to work with, and you're not going to be stuck with like high stress FSBOs and expireds and all the rest, right?
I only want to work with people that want to actually buy or sell at market price. Coca-Cola, they only sell product to people that actually want to buy Coca-Cola at market price. Does that make sense? There's no sense arguing with somebody and going like, hey, you only want to pay 3 cents. Coca-Cola is just like, don't argue, just move on. And so there's many realtors out there that will argue and have an hour-long initial consultation with like, you should move now because of this or that. And this whole system is designed for attract, meaning I'm going to attract people that actually want to buy or sell at market price. And I'm going to get to that in a second with the Freedom Multiplier, because this will explain it a little more. But I wanted to quick just show you guys the math of how easy this is, even if you're working with people that are going to buy at 300,000. So you work with someone that's going to buy at 300,000, and you only work with 14 of those people a year. That's 105,000 GCI. And if you only work with 10 families that are going to buy at 300,000, and then half the time they're selling at 200, half the time they're selling at 400, that's 300, that's 200,000. Now you're at 300,000 GCI by just working with 14 buyers and 10 families that are going to buy and sell. And in every marketplace in North America, to find 24 people that will do that is very, very doable. Okay, so I want to get into the Freedom Multiplier because this is one of the main things that makes this triangle come alive. And with the Freedom Multiplier, it starts with this. Box one is how much money do I want to make every time I actually work with someone. And so maybe it's $10,000 is what I want to make. Cool. Box two is what other qualities do I want them to have? For me, I like to work with people that are decisive. I like to work with people that are willing to pay market price. I like to work with people that are cool, nice, chill. I say this here, it doesn't have to be a mom and a dad or 2.2 kids or a cat, dog, and a pet turtle. But the overarching thing is they're busy. Like, I don't want to work with, no offense, a newlywed couple because they got all the time in the world and they're going to want to see 92 homes. And instead of the average being 63 hours to work with a buyer, according to NAR, those people take 200 hours of my time. Does that make sense? Because they got nothing going on, right? I'd rather work with someone that's got a lot going on because we just need to look at less homes. Okay, and then box three. Box three is, well, what qualities do I need to bring to the table so that these people are just like, oh my gosh, I want to work with you. And I don't have time to go into all these, but these four things are much more important than any social media you'll ever do. They're much more important than any branding you'll ever do. They're much more important than any real estate company you work with. These four things supersede all that. And then box four is, well, how much money do I want to make in a year? So if somebody's like, hey, I want to make $200,000 of income in a year, and you're making $10,000 for every time you help a buyer or seller out, that means you need to work with 20 families. And oh my gosh, to work with 20 families, that's very, very doable in your marketplace. Box 5 is where we go deeper into like, okay, why do you actually want to achieve that? So that's the Freedom Multiplier.
Okay, Jonathan, I got to throw you a hardball question here.
Yeah.
So there's realtors on this call now that are struggling to get any leads, and you're telling them that they need to be a little bit critical in who they work with. What do you have to say to that?
Yes, the main thing that you want to be critical of who you work with is these type of people. I want to work with people in the 40% of the price point. So I do not want to work with people in the bottom 50%. I do not want to work with the Kim Kardashians of the world. They're too challenging to work with, right? So these people here are just normal Joe Q public, but they're just in a home that's too small. They're in a home that's too big. These people are used to, like, they go to Starbucks, they get what they want, and then they move on. If they get a bad coffee, they're like, you know what, it's a bad coffee. This person here is super persnickety, and they're like, you put too much cream in my coffee. You didn't put enough cream in my coffee. And the same with down here, since these people don't have a lot of money, they're very persnickety as well, right? They're like, hey, this isn't big enough. This doesn't taste good enough, because they're only going to Starbucks, call it once a year. These people are going 4 times a day. These people are going, let's say, 3 to 5 times a week, and they understand that sometimes poo-poo happens, and they just move on with it. So these people are a lot easier to work with because they're not going to flake out when GFI outlet doesn't work, or they want to spend $600K, but they don't get exactly what they want. They're okay with that.
So this, that also helps us understand. You said in the previous slide that you want to work like a physician, and there was a question, what do you mean by that?
Well, so as a physician is, if we took this chart here, and let's say, well, what type of physicians tend to make the most money? A physician that is a generalist or a physician that is a specialist? Yeah, a physician that's a specialist. So as a specialist, it might be like, hey, I only do knee surgery. And that's what they do. Now, could they do eye surgery or ear surgery? Yes, they could. Could they administer a COVID-19 test? Yes, they could. But that's not their specialty. And they are okay basically either referring it out, or really what a lot of doctors do is they don't have time to refer it out. They're just like, hey, you know what? I don't specialize in that. And then that's just end of discussion. I know this. So my first 2 years in residential real estate, when I did good money, but it was here, right? That's where I was focused at. And I was making $300,000 to $410,000, $420,000. That was my first year. This was my second year. Good money, but it was so much time. Like free time, I had none. Cranky, I had that. I was super cranky all the time. I had that one mastered. So that's where I was like, okay, for some reason, I got to switch and start to fish in a different pond. Does that make sense? And what I initially wanted to do, Mike, is I wanted to, stay here because that's what I was comfortable with. And it was kind of like, just help me get better here. And what I had to realize is, well, I don't even want to get better here. Why not just get better there?
Don't you need to have the experience down low first before you go to that top 40% though?
No, it's amazing. So on this real estate company that I own in Texas, we hire realtors that have never been a realtor before. So take that back. We hire people that have never been a realtor before. I'd say probably 90, well, 90+%, 95% plus of the people we hire have zero experience. And within 90 days of them using this mic, they've generally added 60,000 GCI or more to them, either pending or closed. But I would say this as well. If you are a realtor and you have more than 0 days experience, you're further ahead. Like, you're going to do even better with this. Cool. So this is where I want to focus. Now, this word focus to me is very important. Do I help people buy or sell down here? Yes. But it's not my focus. This is my focus. Do I help people buy and sell up here? Yes. But it's not my focus. Does that make sense? So I will meet with any human on the globe for an initial consultation. So when I go back to this chart here, if I find out somebody wants to buy any price point, I don't care. I meet with them. And the reason I can meet with them is this only takes 10 minutes. So out of an entire 30 days in the month, I gotta spend 80 minutes doing this. Does that make sense? Like, I just feel that's the moral thing to do. It's just because somebody doesn't fit my price point, it's not like, hey, I can't talk to you anymore. That'd be weird. So it's like, yes, I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to do the initial consultation. As you get better with the system, you're going to refer more and more of this business out, where you earn a 50% commission because you are referring this business out. But that's not step 1, 2, or 3. Step 1, 2, and 3 is we got to get clear on how do we get these 16 leads for you. And so a lot of people ask me, well, cool, what are the ways? I'm going to show you guys the ways. Sounds like my construction people are doing a good job. We'll have to go out to be like, hey guys, good job. Because they are doing a good job. All right, so this is the 11 ways. And usually I don't even show this to people, Mike, because sometimes it's too much overload. And it sometimes is too much like, well, Jonathan, I've tried that. Like, I've done open houses, they don't work. I've done online leads, it doesn't work. I know how to get a lender. I know how to get a builder. I've done print media, it doesn't work. And to that I say, yes, you might have done open houses before, but you have not done them the way I do them. You've not done them the way of the CPS3 system. Because the way that I do open houses is totally different. Number one, I only do them in that top 40%. Thus, only those people are coming in. Number two is I only put out usually 1 to 2 open house signs that say, come on in. But Jonathan, how do people find you? Oh, they find you. Most humans out there have a smartphone, and they go to sites like Zillow or Realtor.com, and they see the homes that are open for the day, and then they just put it in their phone, and then they hit directions. I have an Apple phone. I think I just hit the direction button, and then it just starts talking to me in my car, like, take a left here, take a right here. And so you don't need to have directional signs. You don't need to post on Facebook that, like, hey, I'm doing an open house. And then it's different because when people come in, I'm dressed differently. Many times this is how I dress. Right now I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, and I guess I can stand up and show you I'm wearing shorts. You know, I wear flip-flops to my open houses. In Minnesota, I didn't wear flip-flops because it's a little cold there. So I'd wear long pants. I'd wear a long sleeve shirt. but I'm not looking like a prima donna traditional realtor. Can you guys type in the chat box? Do you kind of know what I'm talking about? Like that realtor that's like showing up and it's like they came straight from a wedding or straight from a funeral. Like, I'm not interested in being a beauty contest recipient. I'm actually interested in helping people buy or sell homes.
Don't you
Um,
want to present yourself as a professional though?
Yeah, you know what's really interesting is when you look at most of the multimillionaires or even billionaires of the world, they dress pretty casually, minus if you're in Saudi Arabia or Dubai. But beyond that, they're pretty normal people. And so, since I know that those people in that top 40% of the price point, they're past the stage of I need a car to be accepted. I need a whatever to be accepted. I need a what they're more just like, hey, this is who I is. If yous don't like who I is, no harm, no foul. But I ain't working today, so this is what I'm wearing. Does that make sense? Like I've never met a doctor who's walked into my open house with a stethoscope going like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm a doctor and I'm wearing my stethoscope. They usually walk in looking like Mike or looking like me. Does that make sense? And so I want to make sure that I'm actually, oh my gosh, we could have an hour class on this on how to build rapport. Um, I want to build rapport uh, by meeting them where they're at. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like a traditional realtor. The way to build rapport is like, oh, you went to Texas A&M, I went to Texas A&M, and blah blah. I'm more of like, I'm Yoda, and you are Han Solo. I'm Yoda, and you are Princess Leia. Like you are the star of the show. Does that make sense? It's like Chick-fil-A has become one of the most popular restaurants in North America because their service people are just friendly. They're like, hey, my pleasure. Thank you for coming in. Does that make sense? They're the Yodas of the world. Versus Kentucky Fried Chicken, that thing's been around for 90 years, just nobody goes to it. Like everybody's going to Chick-fil-A. It's the same, chickens are coming from the same factory. I mean, chicken nugget is a chicken nugget. A chicken breast sandwich is a chicken breast sandwich. The same tomatoes are coming from middle California. Uh, the lettuce is coming from probably Texas. Like it's the same ingredients. It's just a totally different experience. And so I don't want to scare you guys on the call. But I got to be truthful with you. And the truth is this: each one of these ways, when you get it mastered, it's going to add 25,000 GCI a month to you. So you do open houses, that's 25,000 a month. You do online leads the right way, 25,000 a month. You do ultimate humans, which is connecting with your database, but it's only 200. I don't like the word database, 25,000 a month. You do Tuesday, Friday update calls the right way, a 6-step process with everybody that you're working with, boom, 25,000 a month. You find a lender who sends you $1 million of business per month, 25,000 a month. Builder is 2 of them. You work with a custom home builder, 25,000 a month. A national home builder, 25,000 a month. And on and on and on. And I'd say the big overarching issue of why this works is because everything in the system is designed to do this. When you meet with Joe Q Public and Joe Q Public interacts with you in any way of any sort, what's going through the brain of Joe Q Public? So Joe Q Public is now going to interact with a realtor And what does Joe Q public think? Are they like, oh my gosh, this is like meeting Brad Pitt, it's gonna be awesome. Or this is like meeting Angelina Jolie, this is gonna be awesome. Or do they think other things? Okay, well, let's go to the Google box, because Google is smart, and this is what it says. Realtors are. Okay, realtors, Realtors. Realtors are. Here we are. So realtors are overpaid, required to arbitrate, not your friend, parasites, shady. I guess we're good neighbors. We're obsolete and we're obligated. Oh, here we're liars. So not good. So that means I need to talk differently than a traditional realtor if I want a higher income, if I want lower stress, and if I want more free time. That means I need to dress differently. That means I need to have a different type of initial consultation or value proposition for why should this buyer give me 10 more seconds of their time? Why should this buyer allow me to help them buy the home that they want to buy? So yeah, there's 11 different ways in the system of how you can add $25,000 a month to your bank account, which is pretty good. 7 of the 11 ways are going to cost you less than $300 per month to implement, which is even better.
Hey, Jonathan, just want to chime in a bit because there's a couple more questions from Jay Kirkland. And what everybody on the call has to understand is what you are talking about something completely different. You're not you're not making anything better that they're doing. It's completely different. So one of his questions is, you talked about working 24 hours a week. What do you do with the rest of your time? Because he's trapped in that traditional realtor mindset that realtors work 40 to 60 hours per week. It's just how it is. And so I wanted to address that. And then second.
Yeah, well, look, I'll do that one first. Otherwise,
okay, go ahead.
I got the attention span of a gnat sometimes. So yeah, I would say this, if you want to work longer, you can, right? I'm just saying with this system, you're gonna spend about 4 to 12 hours to work with a buyer, versus NAR says it takes 63 hours to work with a buyer or seller. So what you want to do, for me, I like to play tennis, I like to paddleboard, I like to snorkel. It was kind of fun buying these new windows about Solex, it's called, which Solex is this like greenish tint to it that I don't know what it does, but I was like, it looks cool, I'll take it. I like to travel. But yeah, it was really different for me because my first 2 years it was work, and cranky. And now my wife's kind of like, oh, Jonathan still has a little cranky in him, but a lot less. So yeah, what's the other question, Roxy?
Well, so just to expand on that a little bit more. So you're super experienced. Of course you can do it because you're special. But I've spoken, yeah, look at how special you are. I've spoken to a lot of people using CPS3. And one of the most recent talks I've had is with Kai. Kai's hilarious because he's just so laid back and chill. He's a brand new realtor, and I don't know if you know, but he's working close to an hour a day right now because he did 85,000 GCI in his first month following your system. And so he's pretty happy with his lifestyle now, and he's not going for the multiple 6 figures because he's got that perfect balance, better than a perfect balance of tons of time freedom and all the money he needs. So yeah, it works for new realtors as well.
It is a, well, CPS3 stands for Complete, Proven, Simple Signature System. And it's complete because it's A to Z. Like, there's no other real estate system that's like, this is all you need. And I know it's really shocking for people, like, but don't I need this, and don't I need that, and don't I need that? And for Mike and I, wouldn't it be great if it was like, hey, all you need is one widget? But it's like, no, you need the email widget, and you need the this widget, and the that widget, and the, does that make sense? And so for realtors, the same thing. Well, you need the CRM, then you need this, then you need that, then you need that. And it's like, nope, all you need is this one system. So that's complete. Proven is that it's proven. Like I've done it in California, I've done it in Minnesota. So I'm not a guru or a coach that's never like, I eat my own cooking, if that makes sense, right? And oh my gosh, I've taught lots of realtors how to do it, and they've sold 1.2 billion dollars. And then realtors that I've trained on my companies, they've sold $600 million. So that's complete, proven, simple. Oh, simple. So remember how Mike, I was like, hey, just give me one question at a time because I'm going to lose my train of thought. It's that simple. Like you just put in, call it 1 hours to 4 hours of the right prospecting, but I don't even call it prospecting. It's just like attracting, but let's not even call it that. Let's just call it have conversations with humans. But let's have conversations with humans that actually want to have conversations with you. So there's no cold calling, which is kind of cool, unless I guess you're really like cold calling. But yeah, there's no cold calling to this. It's almost like risk-free rejection. Like you're not going to get rejected with this system. So that's complete, proven, simple. Oh, signature. It is totally different. So open houses, yes, but it's done a different way that actually gets results. And so, gosh, Mike's working on 161 case studies of like people, realtors getting results from the system. And we're struggling with like what to call it, because it's like, well, should we call it realtors getting results? Should we call it realtors getting results with the system? And it's kind of like at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, just people getting results. Like it's so like, what? You can get results in Oklahoma right now. You can get them in this area, that area, this age, that age, this experience, not experience. It's like, yeah, it's just, it's RR. It's just realtors getting results, or whatever that term would be. RGR. Anyway, um, um,
So you just answered a couple of the other questions where, well, what if I'm not in San Francisco or New York or San Diego? Like, does the system work?
yeah. So there's a gal I work with, Tonya. She's out of New Braunfels, Texas. And I was like, man, that sounds small townville. And I Googled it, that's small townville. And she's doing pretty good. She's right now newer. Um, I don't want to misspeak, but I think it's like 18,000 was one of her first commissions checks that she cashed. So yeah, that's pretty good. So it's a complete, proven, simple. Oh, signature. Yeah, it's totally different. And then it's a system, because like it would really stink if this only worked for guys who have bad eyesight and are 50 years old and have balding hairline. Like that would be a sucky system, because we'd be like, oh, but dude, I got hair. And what's cool is this system has worked for 18-year-olds. It's worked for, that was Jamie and Sam. Sam was 19. It's worked for Dan McGinnis. Dan is, I don't know his age. I tell him he's 87, and he's never said he's not 87. So I'm going to go with 87, but maybe he's 82. I call him the lovable dinosaur because he's just, he's, Dan, if you're watching this, you know I love you. But I mean, you would look at Dan McGinnis and you would be like, wow, like he is not a Brad Pitt. And he quadrupled his income, Mike, in less than 1 year with this system. And he's in a very competitive marketplace.
But what if English is your second language?
Oh my gosh. So Gene Riley. Is using the system. And Gene Riley, her I love Jean. Again, if you're watching this, Jean, you know I say this to your face as well. Jean is very, very good at following a system. And anyway, she learned about my system before she even got her license. And then she was like, wow, this is going to be great. So she went out. Within 30 days, she got her first listing. It was 1,350,000. How many of you would like that type of a listing, right? That's pretty good. And she also helped the buyer buy it. So I forget what that commission was, but let's just say a lot. And yeah, and Gene Riley, by the way, first generation immigrant. I don't know the exact country or continent but Asia. And Gene, to this day, I love Jean, but I understand 1/5 of what she's talking about. And the people she's helping buy and sell homes understand about 1/5 of what she's talking about. But she's following the system, and the system is so much more about like heart than exactly what to say. But I tell you exactly what to say, so you get both.
There's a question here that I can answer. So AR asks in Boston, most open house attendees are already working with an agent. How many open houses do you have to get a buyer that's not working with anyone? And you can answer after, but when I interviewed Lori, I think it was Lori last week, Lori was talking about an open house and a couple came in that already had already working with a buyer agent. And she said, oh, I've got another house. You want to go look at it now? And she turned that couple into her client, and she bought and sold for them. And so that's the experience that I saw that Lori had. So you might be able to speak to that further.
Oh my gosh. What's they call it? If I had a nickel for every time something, yeah, it works. It's a system that I don't care what area you're in, a few of these 11 ways will work for you. And again, each of the 11 ways is 25,000 of income to you, which I'm going to guess for most of us on this call, heck, do one of the ways and 25,000 is good to go. So we just find out, okay, which way is it best in your marketplace, and then boom, we just do that one way. But for each of the 11 ways, I don't know if you can see this, I break it down into, okay, this is what's worst case, most likely case, best case. And I've been doing this now for 17 years. So I don't want to say I know what works best in your market, but I pretty much know what's going to work best in your marketplace. You just ask me and I'll tell you. Hey, I got to get scooting. If you want to, I say, gosh, sure, make your next 90 days your best ever. But really, let's just make your life better. And if you truly want like your personal life that you got into real estate for, and you want your financial life that you got into real estate for, then I'd like to talk to you for 2.5 days of the exact system. And I'll walk you through everything. And you go to www.totalfreedomsolution.com. So go to www.totalfreedomsolution.com, and this is what you're going to see. You're going to see, well, let's see what we see. This is what you'll see. So you'll see this. And if you want to hear about Janet, oh my gosh, Janet is crushing this. You'll see that within 30 days of her attending the event, 4 new listings, 7 new buyers, 157,500 GCI. That's more in 1 month than Janet made all of her previous 7 years best year. Does that make sense? Janet's been a realtor for 7 years. She's never even had a year that's been that good. And within 30 days of attending the event, bam. So
And if you talk to Janet, Janet's awesome because she keeps doing everything what she says is wrong. Like she's doing your system, but she keeps flubbing things and mixing stuff up and doing stuff wrong. So even failing at your system, she's getting those results.
I tell people that's the cool thing about a complete, proven, simple signature system is like you don't even need to get it all right. You just get the main parts right, and it's like, you know, good to go. So Jamie, 18 years old, did real estate over a summer between her freshman year in college and sophomore year in college, made $37,000 in commissions during her summer break. Jay, oh my gosh, Jay, he did over 400,000 GCI closed his in residential real estate. You're going to get all these things. You're going to get all 11 ways in detail, usually about an hour in length, because we meet for 3 days, 2.5 days. It's very scheduled, very regimented. There's no like outside vendors. So there's no like, hey, you need to buy this widget or that widget. It's me teaching you every step of the way of like what's going on. And gosh, one of the things that's going to happen is when you sign up for this, you're going to get this. And this is a 151-page manual of the system. And somebody once paid me $30,000 for this. Like $30,000 for this. And I told him even, I was like, his name is Brandon. I'm like, Brandon, like that ain't gonna change your world. Like a book's not gonna change your world. I said, what you need is the book, but then you need me explaining to you how it works, walking you through it. Anyway, then I'm also gonna give you, well, when I say everything, guys, I give you everything. I show you the exact, this is the exact listing brochure that I create that helps me get results. I show you the exact 7 listing letters to send out to get more listings. I show you the exact buyer letter I send out to get more listings. I show you the exact EDDM postcard I send out to get more listings. This is key. So here's this guarantee. If you don't walk away from this event 100% confident, you can consistently earn an extra $25,000 a month. You just let me know and I refund what you paid. So basically that's saying, hey, I know the system works. I know that you're going to learn at the end of that 3rd day how to add $25,000 monthly to your bank account forever. If for some reason it didn't click with you, no harm, no foul. You just let me know and boom. So the purpose of the event, gonna work less, gonna earn more. These are the dates, although I think these dates are a little wonky. It's actually December. So it's December 14th, December 15th, December 16th is the dates. And
Fixing that now.
one more time. Oh,
Fixing that now.
yeah. So all you do is you click this button and secure my seat, type in your information, continue through, and boom, you will be one of the 100 realtors that attend this event. I only allow 100 realtors at a time to attend because 1, I'm kind of an introvert. 2 is I actually want you to learn the system. Does that make sense? I'm not into like just giving you information to give you information. I want it to actually work for you. That's why I have that guarantee of, hey, at the end of that 3rd day, you're going to have a clear picture of how to add 300,000 of income to you within 12 months. If not, you just let me know. I refund your money. Then there's 3 bonuses. So sign up. Gosh, I forget if it's the first 10 people that sign up from this, from today. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, sign up for the event. And I'm going to send 3 things out to you. And they're 3 one-hour videos that talk you through, number 1, the initial consultation and how to really do that. And number 2, it talks you through an hour each of 2 of the 11 ways for you to attract really, really cool premium buyers and sellers. Okay, any questions on the event coming up December 14th, 15th, or 16th? Type them in the chat box and I'll answer them for you. It's December 14th, 15th, and 16th are the dates. Yeah, sometimes people ask me, gosh, I can't make those dates. And I say, gosh, I get it, but also, you know, learning how to add 300,000 of income to your bank account, would it be worth it to take 3 days out of the year, or basically 1% of the year, to learn how to do that? And if the answer is yes, then, oh my gosh, you know, make it work and get signed up for it. Sometimes people ask, hey, Jonathan, are you going to do other events? Yes and no. Like, I think, like, Lord willing, I'll do more events, but oh my gosh, I don't know if I'll be alive 3 months from now. So, and then I think also it's kind of this, like, why would you want to delay your success? Like, if you could learn how to start adding 25,000 a month to your bank account, how to start working less, having more free time, and just, I'd say this, building cooler relationships with people, like, why would you want to delay that? And so the main question to ask yourself is, are you living your ideal lifestyle? And if the answer is yes, then keep doing what you're doing. That was pretty easy. But if the answer is no, I'm not living my ideal lifestyle, then you have to ask your question, well, do you? And if the answer is like, well, no, I really don't ever want to live my ideal lifestyle, then perfect, keep doing what you're doing. But if you answered, are you living your ideal lifestyle, with a no, and then you answered, well, do you? And it's like, well, yeah, then go to Total Freedom Solution and get signed up. I think, and it's painful for me, but I think it's $300 to attend this event.
$297.
$297. Okay. Wow. Even more painful. So it's $300 to attend this event, of which you're going to learn how to add 300,000 of income. Like, wow.
Just to reiterate, what you teach in this isn't, for this chart here, it isn't to do what they're doing better. So if they're doing social media now, you know, maybe they could do social media better and they'll improve by 10%. Maybe they could knock on doors better and improve by 10%. You're telling them, everybody, to throw what's not working 100% and replace it with something that will move the dial within 30 days, max.
Yes. Oh my gosh. we're talking about substantial income increase with substantially less time. Oh yeah, it's like this. Pretend this was a teaspoon, and our goal is we're digging a swimming pool, right? So that's a pretty big hole we got to dig. And most realtors are using a teaspoon to dig this swimming pool. And then I come along and they're like, hey, Jonathan, you've dug a lot of swimming pools, but hey, can you just show me how to do a better job of making my teaspoon dig swimming pools? And I go, well, I could, but instead let's crack the teaspoon, and instead let's bring in the big caterpillar piece of equipment. Ooh, this is a Diet Coke, but you get the analogy. So you bring in the big caterpillar piece of equipment, and in a matter of hours, we have a big swimming pool ditch, where before it was weeks, months, years. And now the big kicker is this, Mike. The big kicker is if you could use a caterpillar piece of equipment to dig that swimming pool, which would take hours, or the teaspoon, which would take 2 years, but they cost the same amount of money. Which would you prefer to dig your hole with? The caterpillar piece of it. I mean, it'd be a no-brainer. It's like, it's the same cost. Why would I want to take 2 years to just get this thing done in a matter of hours? And so when you attend the 3-day event, you're going to learn, you're going to invest. I should get a briefcase of $300,000, but you're going to invest $300 to learn how to make $300,000, right? If we were going to stack bills on top of each other, it would be like, I guess it would be kind of like this. You're gonna invest 3 $100 bills to learn how to make this stack of money. And that's just if you're money motivated, right? If you're like, well, that's cool, but I also want some free time, like, oh, cool. We're just gonna 4X your free time. And so we got the free time covered, we got the money covered. Like, it is going to be a different way of life. So go to Total Freedom Solution, get signed up, and away we go. And I will see you there. And I'm going to send you out these 3 bonuses. I'll personally send them out to you today. I'll send them out before midnight. And gosh, looking forward to seeing you December 14th, 15th, and 16th. Thanks, Mike, for doing this. Yeah. And I'll see you guys at the event. It's going to be great.
All right. Thanks, Jonathan. See you next week.
Bye.